right, it says it's live.
We're live? Excellent. Welcome back to Punchline. The show today is about celebrating 1 year at Punchline Productions. And before we get started with today's guest, Mr. Scott Schuessler, we'd just like to talk a little bit about TRT treatment from Prime Performance. Prime Performance is often thought of as a leader in the industry because of their TRT treatment modalities. We don't think of it just as a way to get the edge in the gym or to keep up with your kids or something you've lost. TRT treatment goes a lot deeper than that. It helps regulate your mood. It helps you stay calm and patient during moments of stress by keeping you regular with your hormones. And as we age and those things are a little bit different inside of us, it's the same as when we're teenagers. And so regulation is a good thing. They also do IV treatments as well as many other things to keep you healthy and feeling young on the inside and the outside. So check out our partners today at Prime Performance. Today's guest is Mr. Scott Schuessler, the creator of Adventure Unknown is how I know you. You've done a few other things, though, right?
I have.
So for those who may not know your background a little bit, before you did this, give us a little bit about yourself, perhaps just your name, what you went to school for, and what your first business was. Social security number, credit card number.
Yeah. Yeah, so Scott Schuessler, I went to school to become a physical therapist.
Yeah.
Got my doctorate of physical therapy and practiced for about 20 years. And I learned entrepreneurship there. I didn't necessarily know I was learning it there, but after the fact, it's easy to see where it came from. But
Like trial and error kind of?
Well, yeah, I worked for someone else for 10 years and then realized it could be done so much better.
Mm-hmm.
So I took that leap, which I know is so hard for so many people. I went out on my own, invested everything I had, and put my family and my house on the line, and best thing I ever could have done. And then became very much entrepreneurial in many different ways. So
yeah,
started off in the medical world, and then I got into property management, and then I got into building custom homes. That makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then now I opened
building bodies better and then building houses for them to live in.
A little different, but the same, right? And now, I opened this club, and I'm building this.
So, for those of us who don't know, you said you have a doctorate.
I do.
In that. So, when I think of physical therapy, I think of like Logan Chiropractic. Tell me the difference in that. Is that a doctorate in an MD sense?
No.
Okay.
It's. I mean, I have a doctorate degree. I don't have an MD. So
okay.
I just went and got my bachelor's, and then I did my master's, and then I went and got my doctorate degree. So, you can call me doctor from here on out.
Okay. I never knew the difference. So
I don't tell anybody I have a doctor, so it's not important to me.
Well, now everybody knows.
Yeah.
It's Dr. Schuessler. It is.
Yeah.
So what got you into the property part of things? Because that is a big leap, right?
It is. Looking back, I got into it because I had a patient who was in it. So I treated a patient, and he ran out of physical therapy visits, and he still needed more therapy. And so along the line, we had been talking about how he had properties in Florida that he managed and from far away in the short-term Airbnb, and so I was very intrigued in it. And so I said, let's trade therapy for a week in your place in Florida. And I want to go talk to your real estate agent and see what you do and how you do it. And long story short, I ended up buying a property right across the street from his 2 months later, and, just continue to grow from there. So it's because of a conversation I had with, let's say, a like-minded individual that
mm-hmm.
wanted to step outside of his normal 8-to-5 job and get a secondary income or do something different. So
did you believe that going into that was going to be static income in the sense that, like, the way it was presented, like, I can have this property and collect this? Or did you know at the time what goes into being a property owner outside of your own house? Like, because I know you've been down there several times in the last couple of years, right?
Yeah.
Just like dealing with different issues.
Yeah, you never know if it's a good or bad decision. You learn from someone else's trial and errors, and then you say, okay, am I up for this challenge or this risk or not? I'm 12 hours away to go fix, a flooded sink, or it's not possible. So figuring out how to deal with every issue from afar and to prepare, and but I was up for that challenge. I like figuring out how I can deal with all the unexpected things that may or may not occur that you don't know about. So,
Where did you get that from? Is that like an early onset thing as a problem solver? Were you always kind of a adventurer, problem solver kind of kid, or did that develop through understanding entrepreneurship as you branched out on your own?
well, I liked MacGyver as a kid.
Oh yeah, can you do some tricky things with a toothpick and a Dixie cup?
Yeah. uh, it came. I mean, being a physical therapist, no one is black and white. Nobody's a textbook patient for the most
Okay.
part. And
So you're
so
problem solving.
yeah, I have to figure out what's wrong with your body. It just doesn't come and tell you what's wrong.
Sure.
So, I developed that and that challenge. Not, I mean, it's kind of addicted to fixing challenges. So, um, yeah. So this was just another way to challenge myself. Can I do this? Several people told me that's stupid, so I'm more likely to do it.
You're
now.
more likely to do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Is that so? One of the big things that this whole show is based off of is, and then I'll go into kind of how instrumental you were in helping us create all this. But is this was built so that I could learn from others about mental fortitude, a place that I felt I was lacking in my life, and I think that we all probably can improve on it. But it was something that I had come to a point of where I needed to address. So when I think about someone like yourself who acts in these ways and goes and does these entrepreneurial things and solves these problems, you're building mental fortitude without really knowing it by continuously problem solving or facing the fears of things, right? Now, have you ever looked at it from a mental aspect? Have you always thought it from a doer's aspect?
Yeah, I'm definitely a doer.
Yeah.
I know I need to get as many things done every day as I can. I don't necessarily know what I need to get done, but I just have to deal with it and get that task off my list. And because tomorrow, who knows what's coming, but something's coming
Okay.
that I'm gonna have to deal with. And so,
Where did that mentality come from? Because you were an athlete, you played volleyball all the way through college, right?
yeah, I did.
So that takes some mental fortitude, but not to the sense of like the way you just described it. Get as much off my plate as possible, even if I don't know what that is, so that whatever comes tomorrow, I'm prepared for. Is a really like, I don't know if you know that or meant that to be deep, but that's a very like introspective, deep thought process of like, I'm going to rest my head knowing that I've got room to deal with shit tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah. My brain doesn't stop too much. I'm trying to figure out what I need to get done. What's highest priorities. But I've put myself in that situation because I've got many rental houses, like 30 LLCs that I own, and so not that they're all needing my attention every day, but I've put myself in a situation where I have to get stuff done.
Yeah.
And so I mean, so I understand I voluntarily did that to myself, but
well, yeah, it's not a burden if you're creating it, but
yeah.
but the choice to try and eliminate. So like we've been over at the house and watched you and the family working around the farm, or you're just doing stuff around the farm. That's something too that I think is kind of a lost art. Do you find there's like a satisfaction for yourself for working with your hands? Because I know recently doing a project, I figured out that like I feel like I should do this at least once a month, once a quarter. Like there's some
Sure.
satisfaction in it.
There is. I mean, yeah. So we burn a lot of wood in the winter.
Yeah.
So we chop wood and splitting wood, and that's full day. I mean, you're exhausted, but there's definitely a therapeutic effect that it has on me, and I think everyone. It's you can see the accomplishment, you can see what you built.
Yeah.
Stacks and stacks of wood, but that's going to keep us warm in the winter, and so plus it's saving money and it's good exercise mentally. So yeah, I won't stop doing that because of, like you said, it does help me mentally, and and it breaks up your day to day of the dumb stresses that just fill you up.
Well, it's something you can control.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times as entrepreneurs, there's a lot of things that I'll speak for myself. There's a lot of things that go on day to day within a business that I have no control over. I got to kind of take some things as they come. Right. And so when you're creating a task that you can control, that has to be, at least for me, it has been grounding. It's grounding. It gives me a tangible win.
Yeah.
Right. because otherwise a business never stops. So
Yep.
you don't really get to celebrate a win or a loss.
Yep.
But with chopping wood, that I got to get 6 pallets of wood out. What do you call it? What do you call it when it's bigger than a bundle? There's a thing for it, right?
Yeah, I
Like
do
a
pallets.
slat
I do.
pallet?
It's way bigger than a cord is I think the word.
Cord.
Cord.
Is the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
Because that's how I sell it. But did you grow up that way? Because I met your parents. I don't feel like you grew up
No,
country.
I grew up in a subdivision. The hardest thing we did was clean the garage once a year, and it was the worst day of the year. But now we clean the garage like 10 times a year, and my kids still hate it. But
you probably have a lot more animals in your garage than you used to as a kid. It's probably more needed
a lot
for
more
cleaning,
junk,
right?
A lot more junk, yeah.
So with this country lifestyle, was that something you played ball in Iowa?
I played volleyball in Iowa.
Was that where you got your love for the outdoors?
No, it's too cold, and there's too many pigs up there, like smelly pigs. But for real. But no, I mean I was, my parents. I grew up camping and fishing, so very much outdoorsy. But I learned really early on that things called like HOAs and neighbors only cause problems, and so I just wanted to immediately, just do my own thing and kind of hide and not have excuses for anyone to complain to me about me. So I love outdoors. I mean, I've been there forever. I picked up hunting not till I was like 26 though. So
okay.
Yeah. So it's kind of,
so you've been doing all this stuff only for like 15, 16 years.
Yeah.
Not real. Yeah.
Yeah. 20 probably, but yeah.
Oh, I thought we were closer to the same age. We are the same age, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
20 years. And you said you were 26? I'm not great at math, but that would put you in your mid-40s. I just didn't think. So, but, well, you're damn good at it. How does that apply to, I mean, there's some individual hunts that I know you've talked about on some other podcasts and have conversations with, but that is probably one of the strongest things that you have to deal with mental fortitude wise, right? Is hunting the joy of hunting for you? I would be willing to wager is not just the trophy; it's the getting there, right? Yeah,
embrace the suck.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny. I accidentally wore this today, but so hunting.
It is funny that you actually wore that today.
Hunting is it's pulling the trigger is it takes a skill. But one little skill can you aim and shoot straight and control your heart.
In the broad scheme of things, it's the smallest part.
Exactly.
Of
it's all the prep, but really it's once you pulled the trigger, that's when the suck starts. The suck is hiking after that animal, taking all of the meat off of the animal and carrying it a lot of times down a mountain, which is why they call it embrace the suck, because you have to embrace that the work is horrible after you're so excited that you pull the trigger. But we eat all the meat. If we're in a country we can't take it home, we donate 100% of it. And so there's a lot of enjoyment in seeing less fortunate be able to eat and be excited and tearful. But there's also the sit around the kitchen table now where my daughters hunt, and we kind of argue, hey, who shot this? Who's providing dinner tonight? So then now it kind of brings us back to, the Indian times, 200 years ago, when you can't go to the store and buy dinner, you have to go shoot it.
Or
you
don't eat.
Yeah. So my daughters are like, hey, I shot this, and it's really good. And they love this animal, and they like this one better than that. So there's a lot of excitement, and also teaching the younger ones that, hey, that's how it was. And there's a lot of satisfaction in being able to provide for your family. In their case, they're providing for their parents when they're in their teens. So
would you say any of your kids have surpassed you yet in hunting and prowess?
I've got one that's
the one's close.
Tough. Yeah. They're all tough in their own way for sure, but climbing a mountain after animals in other countries is sometimes exhausting.
Well, I mean, I got Tyson into this stuff for the same reason. Blair was outdoorsy, but not like my youngest. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
he would literally live. What was that? Was it 4th of July week or whatever? And I took a small vacation. He was sun up, sundown before anybody else up, like out fishing, putting trout lines out. Like he lives it. And it was a really great activity for him and I until he is far better at it than me now. And he knows more about it because he watches this stuff. He lives and breathes and eats it. So is it like, was it something that the girls just wanted to tag along with dad to do? Or, you know, I feel like Krista would probably do it with or without you.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. Yeah. She's doing the same thing. She's setting up trot lines and fishing and, you know, she catches a catfish a couple weeks ago. She goes and cleans it herself and cooks it for dinner that night, you know. And I just sat on the porch and watched.
Yeah.
Proud.
I was gonna say it's gotta be a proud dad moment, right?
You know, and she's excited to do it, and she you know, she knows that she's there providing for us. So and she's gonna make that fish taste stupid good.
Really good, yeah.
So
what about when you talk about taste of things? You know, I've had a fairly good amount of exotic type meats, if you will, but I'm sure you've had many more than I have. What is there any animal in particular that stands out as like I would eat that every day or two? Because I know Rogan always talks about like Joe Rogan's big on elk this, elk that, and I've had elk and it's good, but deer's good too.
Yeah, it's all how you cook it, but you know, we've shot an axis deer shot in Texas. We've had some sausage made out of that, which is awesome. And yes, I love elk. I love deer. It's cooked the right way, but you know, some people don't understand is in the clubhouse over there where I have that leopard. So I shot that leopard in Africa.
Yeah.
And when I say every single part of that animal was eaten or used.
Yeah, eyeballs, organs, the whole night. Yeah.
We ate the ribs that night.
Okay.
And I couldn't believe that those were I thought they were pulling my leg. So I went and found the chef. I'm like, and they didn't speak good English, but I'm like, what is this? What is this? And he's pointing to a leopard. I'm like, yeah. So it was not that I would necessarily eat it every day, but I was pleasantly impressed at how good it was.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had predator outside of bear as far as meat wise.
Yeah.
I would say that my most surprising treat was kangaroo.
Yeah.
I really like kangaroo. Have you eaten kangaroo?
I have not eaten kangaroo.
It's really good.
Yeah.
There used to be this beef jerky outlet store. I don't think I've seen them anymore. There used to be one by Bass Pro out in St. Charles. And they had this wall, but they also had this freezer. And in this freezer, there was like alligator tail and different stuff. And there was smoked kangaroo in there. I don't know if it was a regular thing or what, but we got the kangaroo and it was pretty amazing because in the springtime, we used to order exotic meats from exoticmeats.com. Big plug if you guys want to sponsor. And so we'd order like boar and like black bear, rattlesnake, some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
Elk. What else did we have on there? Was kind of neat. Zebra.
Yeah, we eat that.
But I've never had horse.
I have.
Something about it strikes me weird. They eat it all over Europe.
Yeah.
Right?
We had it in Iceland and I've had it in Argentina.
I mean, is it the same kind of cuts as a cow?
Yes, we were in Iceland.
Zebra was like a steak.
Yeah. It's more mental. I mean, we had horse fillet.
Yeah, that's what this was like a little medallion.
Yeah. And it was interesting. A lot of it's mental when you know you're eating something different. If you didn't know what it was, it probably tastes a lot better than when they tell you what it is. But that's why every time someone comes to my house and has dinner, they always ask what we're eating because they assume it's something. But I never tell them until they tell me if they like it or not.
I think it's the petting effect, like if it's domestic.
Yeah.
Because I know that like my uncle is married to a woman that came here from Peru, and she always jokes because their daughter has a guinea pig, and she'd always be like, "I want to eat it. Like, let's eat it tonight," because it's like rabbit. And sometimes we don't think like, you know, like kangaroo, for example. When I've told other people I've eaten kangaroo, they're like, "Man, what the heck? That's kangaroo. They're so cute." I'm like, "Dude, they're like deer.
Yeah,
they're like deer over there. They wreck cars.
Yeah, they beat you up too.
Yeah, they'll drown you.
Yeah,
like they're one of their biggest defense mechanisms: back into a lake and then kick you underwater and keep you underwater. Have you seen this?
I know. Yeah.
With the dogs and stuff, because they do that with dingoes. Like that's how they stay away from the dingoes and protect themselves. Because dingoes can't swim, I guess.
They got big legs. There's a lot of meat on there for jerky.
Yeah. Can you imagine a kangaroo drumstick? That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Toss it in buffalo sauce.
Yeah.
So you're out, you're hunting, you're an entrepreneur. But what I'm really curious about, because I haven't seen you talk about this, is the difficulties and the mental fortitude it takes probably to not only be a father, but you're a girl dad 3 times over. What has that been like to teach you? What has that taught you the most of, besides perhaps patience?
Yeah, patience has been a struggle for me for a long time. It still is. That's for dang sure. You know, yeah, business is, if you test your patience probably more than kids.
Well, in a different way though, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean, kids, you kind of give them the excuse, hey, you're not uh, smart enough or old enough yet to figure this stuff out. But in adults in business, everyone pushes your buttons in many different ways, especially employees.
yeah,
Most employees want and want,
the whole world.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
want. Don't really know that giving is necessary in a job, but once you figure out what not to stress about, again, I'm all about how many things can I get done today. And when I have other people trying to help me get those things done, when I do 10 things and they do 5, it's very easy to get frustrated. Well, why didn't you get 5 things done?
Sure.
So you just have to look back and say, well, tomorrow's going to be there and they'll get the next 5 done tomorrow. And then I'll get 10 more and they'll get 5 more, and that's,
Is that how you think of parenting? Like you zoom out?
I think it's all about expectations. I try to set my expectations lower I have really high expectations for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's why, I push my kids. I push them. And all my friends are like, "Man, you're so tough on them," but they're great kids.
Right.
I'll put them up against anything. Most adults too. But when you're dealing with not kids and other adults, they don't like that. They don't want to be pushed or told, or they're not doing a good enough job. And most of them take it personally and have choice words to say against you. So you make a decision. Do I want them to be my employee anymore or not? And so you can bite your tongue, which more often is probably the right thing to do. But I push those limits a lot. I push and say, I need more out of you. I need more. This is, do we want to succeed? Do we want to grow this together? Or you want to take small steps while I take as big steps as I possibly can? And most people don't respond well to that kind of conversation. So
there's probably varying degrees of that, because I know that it's a good segue into how this became a thing, because I get a bit fussy and cantankerous, right? We've had some things, but I've always come back and I hope I've made it known, not just verbally, but just by other things too. But I've always come back to my gratitude far outweighs any kind of frustration that we've ever had business-wise, because you were an exemplary leader, friend, and brother when we were building this. I mean, I remember when you talk about holding to high standards, and I don't typically do well with authority. So like, especially early on when we were kind of building this business ship and friendship, there was some times where I'd be like, hey, this, and I've calmed down quite a bit from it, because I see that it comes from a place of love with you. You genuinely, the reason I know that you've built this club, you've talked about it, but I've seen it firsthand. The reason I know you built this club at Adventure Unknown is because you genuinely want to see people succeed. How that happens and how you communicate that with some individuals doesn't always jive. But I know at your core, success is what you want to see out of everybody. And so I'm internally grateful for that, because I remember we had this first spot over here and you were like, just go do it. And the part that I remember when you talk about push, you go, I'm not too concerned about you getting started. You have this space to use of mine. Go do this. But if I see you slacking off, or if you're not making forward progression, we're going to have a different conversation. Right. And so it's because of that. It's because of that push. And even though I'm reluctant to it, because it's the same way I was with coaches, or with my stepdad, or with my grandparents, or even my older aunts and uncles who were like siblings, it's like, no one wants to be told what to do. But I think that maturity comes through realization of like, you've been down some paths that I haven't been down. You've seen successes and failures that I haven't seen. And while I've had another business before that was successful, this was a new venture and I had a new mindset. And so I have a deep appreciation for you not sticking it to me. That's the wrong phrase. What is it? Like staying on top of me about it, right? Like doing stuff. And because I gave quite a bit of pushback sometimes. And so there's a lot to be said about an individual that is, even when I'm constantly fighting back, you have stayed my corner and said, I want you to be successful. And you've talked about, one of the things that this whole show was built on was that oftentimes, not just myself, but many of us, I'll speak in terms of me though, we're our own worst enemy. We get inside our head and we self-defeat, we self-deprecate, and we have all these doubts. So that's why I was so curious too, to hear your insight about mental fortitude and the comparison that you talked about with doing. Like one of the things I like to do on the show is try and really be mindful of something I'm taking away from our conversation. And the one thing that will definitively stand out for me from this already is that you're a doer and you do enough things to where as many things as you can so you don't have shit on your plate the next day. I've never heard it put that way. So I'm not really sure exactly how that looks yet, because usually people write it out in a calendar. But what is your methodology for creating that?
I mean, lists out the wazoo. I don't know.
I don't ever see you walking around checking the calendar.
No, I don't. It's all. I mean, my brain doesn't stop, but I just know. As many things that I can get done today is will make me more successful in the long run. So, I want the doer thing is something I don't know. I'd have to think about how I learned that, but everyone always tells me, man, you're a dreamer, but you actually do it. Like opening this club, that's a humongous investment, biggest investment I ever had. And it's a build it and they will come mindset, physical therapy is like, hey, people are always going to get hurt.
Yeah.
I can, as long
it's
as
a service that's needed. This is a, not extracurricular. This is
it's like ancillary.
Expendable.
You're right.
Yeah.
And so does everyone want to spend extra money? Is the economy going to be good enough for people to spend extra money to come hang out at a place like this? Maybe not. But I just knew I was going to create an atmosphere or talk about a vibe that I think a lot of people shared the same interest. They want to be in this type of an environment where everyone is championing everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
No one has a mindset of taking. They always want to just give. And I probably said it 5 times today already, and I'll say it 10 more times tomorrow. If you're not here to give, then this isn't your place, and that's okay, but protecting that mindset and trying to attract that mindset is,
did you have that vision? Because I know you talked about give before you take, in this servant's mindset. But what I've seen develop here is, it was incredible. Like when we started this thing, there was never anybody that was like, oh, can I do this? Or can you film this? Or can you do this? It was, how can I help you build? What can I do? Where can I lend a hand? And everybody within this clubhouse that I now call a friend has that same mentality towards each and everyone else. They share each other's posts. I have guys I've known since I was literally 4 years old that still to this day have never shared a post, right? And when you put something up here, everybody shares it out. Everybody comments, that people talk about it. But I've also seen competitors, like when you're in a BNI or a Chamber of Commerce, nothing against BNI or Chamber of Commerce. In fact, if you have one, I'd love to come speak. But I always feel like it's a weird mix, because there's like 30% of the people are guys that are in their 20s that are like financial planners, and they're starting out in a career that they may not end in. And then you have people that are at the tail end of their career that are just looking for a social thing to do. But this is like where, like, when they thought of a BNI, they probably thought of like, if a BNI had a living, breathing space to live in, this is what it would be. This is what the ideal is for networking, because you have competitors in here that exchange business. And that never happens in those kind of environments. Like I've never experienced where like 2 insurance agents are like, hey, maybe you should go talk to my buddy who's a competitor, not even in the same, like, farmers and whatever. And they're just like, let's trade business. Let's help each other out.
Yeah, I think
is that what you thought this was going to be?
Well, I've told them there is no competition. I'm not going to limit it to one of every person, because I'm not going to, I don't have the same personality and understanding of someone else's personality as that everyone else will. So you're going to become better friends or vibe with another person differently than this. So I think we have 5 insurance agents over there. I mean, they've all gotten business, and most of them have gotten business from another insurance agent.
Yeah.
So, not all, but
A couple financial planners, right? There's
same
at least
thing,
2 or 3
and it's
financial
like
planners.
there's as long as you're a good person, then I want to hang out with you.
Yeah.
And if you're here and you're hoping to get some contacts, just create good relationships. This club or everywhere else in your life, just create good relationships, and people will figure out who you are fairly quickly. And if you're a giver versus a taker, they're going to want to hang out with you more. And pretty soon they're going to say, I want to do business with you. So, it's easy when you see someone who wants to just give you, say, all right, if you don't want to return the favor, then maybe you need to look in the mirror that maybe you're the wrong person in the relationship. But it's gone well. I mean, I love it. I live it. I say lucky and blessed in life because I stepped out of my comfort zone early. I was 30 when I did, and anyone else I see on the
Is
fence.
it wild how young 30 seems now?
I know, it's a long time ago.
Like I look at sometimes I'm like 30, man, I get my left leg.
Yeah, but I stepped out, I did it myself, and the best decision I ever made. And anyone that says, just like with you, you're like, man, I'm nervous. Well, no shit. Everyone's nervous in this situation. You're putting everything on the line. You're going to give up a guaranteed paycheck, even though no check is guaranteed these days. None, no paycheck. So you go out on your own. I'm gonna push you and encourage you and tell you do it, and you're gonna be so scared. But the people that do it, all I want to do is try to support you and support you and support you. And how many people can I put you in front of that'll all help build you up? And that's whether this club or any friend, find that person that wants to do that and start hanging out with them a lot, because that's who you need to surround yourself with. And luckily God gave me that. I was so mad at the corporate world. I did it on my own. I said, I can do this better. Not everyone I got fired. Thought it was the worst. I didn't sleep for days. I was so upset, and just the best thing that ever happened to me. My brother got fired a few years ago. Yes, I go, great thing. Now you can go out on your own, do your own thing. And I couldn't talk him into doing it.
Yeah.
So the people that see
Some people like that. Some people like I remember I had a buddy who was like, had come in some money, and this was probably in our early 30s. And he asked me how I liked being an entrepreneur. And I was telling him, and I was like, it's cool. He's like, he asked me to come over to his house actually. And we had this discussion. And by the end of the discussion, I described what you're very used to. And that is, you don't leave your work at work. Right?
No, never.
You're 18-hour days. And when you're not working, you're still working because you're networking for yourself, or you're thinking of an idea, or you're writing something down. And by the end of that conversation, I remember he told me, he was like, I think I like the idea of like going to work from 9 to 5, being able to turn it off and then come home and live my life. And I think there's a majority of the people like that.
Yeah.
Right?
And the world needs those people. I mean,
yeah.
Not everyone can be an entrepreneur.
No.
A lot of people need
just be trading goods and services.
So that is a perk. You can potentially turn off your mind when you walk out or clock out.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, did you know that the reverberation might be a made up word? The ripple effect that this club has, right? I think that doesn't get spoken about a lot is when you're talking about supporting other people. The philanthropic effect that this club has collectively, I'd be very curious to see what that dollar amount is.
I would love it too.
I mean, it's got to be in the several millions at this point, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, I know the referrals that are gone that are for profit are way over seven figures. The philanthropic is multiple 7 figures for sure.
We've all been to each other's events,
Yeah.
and people spend money when they go to the
Yeah,
events. But more so is like what's really cool, like you're saying about leveling up, finding those friends, is that when people here have those events, the others come. Right? Like people show up for each other here.
Mm-hmm.
So it intrigues me of like what you thought it was going to be versus what it's morphed into.
I mean, it's everything I hoped it would be, but it's certain areas are different. You know, like what you were just saying. We had a networking event it was about a month and a half ago on a Wednesday. And then a member or two came and said, "Hey, I want to have a networking event on the next night on the Thursday evening." And they're all worried. How many people are going to show up? I don't know. And they're like, "All right, we think we're going to have food for like 20, 25 people." I'm like, "I think you're way under expecting who's actually going to show up." And I'm like, "I think you need to expect like 60 to 80 because you haven't even counted the members of the club that are just going to show up just because you're members of the club and they're here to support you." So we had a networking event on Wednesday. They had one on Thursday. They had over 100 people here.
I won a golf club that night.
Yeah, you did. So
But I don't know how to use.
It's just, and that's one little stupid example of what you just said. They're here to support no matter what. You know, it's an excuse to hang out. It's an excuse to meet one new person or 10, or to create a better relationship with someone that somebody knows that you need to have a better relationship with. So it's
and that's how I describe it when people ask me, right? Because there's so many different definitions.
Yeah.
Is I've had offices before where I've shared a suite, you know, like my suite mate or however you call it next door. And there was individuals within that same office, just the block that we all use the same bathroom, that I would not know in 4 years. And so like the difference between the B&Is and the chambers and the shared office spaces, I think that sets this place apart is because you can do all those things here, but you've given an aspect where people can also socialize and want to socialize because you've set it up for that. So I commend you for that. It's been a pretty cool thing to watch blossom.
Yeah, I gotta say, I mean, people say, "Why don't you ever sit back and just like say I did something good?" I'm like, "Well, I'm not. I need to get better. I need to add more." I'm like, every day I'm in here, I'm like today I'm putting an AED on the wall and I'm painting the ceiling.
What's an AED?
You know, when your heart stops beating, it shocks you.
Oh, a defibrillator?
Yeah, AED.
So it's a something defibrillator?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I might be the one using that.
Yeah, let's hope not. But every day I'm adding 10 new things to this place, and it might be paint or it might be floor mats, but the place, it's not done. I don't know that it'll ever be done. It'll always be changing and hopefully always becoming better and better, and continuing to surround ourselves with more better people, and people that are going to help you make yourself
better people than we may know outside of the club.
Well, the hope is, or at least it's easier to find them here.
Yeah.
You know, if you're surrounding yourself with a high volume of those similar people, it should be pretty easy. You should have an easy time finding someone cool here.
Yeah.
You know, but again, this place isn't for everybody. Just like entrepreneurship isn't for everybody. It's okay to come in here, hang out, meet a few people, do your own thing, keep your 8 to 5. You know, not stress about work at 2 a.m. when you're laying in bed. You know, not stressed about, you know, how many members we're going to have next month. You know, can I afford to add a gym equipment that, you know, can I buy the cold plunge or whatever? So,
no, I get it.
Can you buy the next camera?
Can we buy the next camera?
Can you afford it?
That's that guy over there. Yeah. And it's like, you see a new body stand in here too, right? So that all goes into play. Like the more shows you add, the more things you need behind the camera. I was, you know, blessed enough recently to like make a humbling decision of put somebody else in charge of something that Sam and I had created. And I think that both of us have been relieved since that's happened because we were running and gunning. I mean, there's not a lot that Sam wasn't capable of doing that was put on his plate, but the procedures help. And so I've always been more of a Lorax kind of guy, just flying by the seat of pants. So putting those processes in place was a process of my own too. Like the thought process of that. And it's like, where can you start maturing and humbling enough to know your weaknesses and strengths, and then putting the team together? And so I thought of it more as like, up until really recently, we had a conversation and I was like, it's kind of hard to think about like multiple partners now and then this, and like, do you still call it the same thing? But it's like an Avengers Assemble type of deal. right? Like sometimes the enemy is so great that you got to call in that you got to call in people, or like Bugs Bunny. Do you remember the episode where he was his own baseball team? It was like Bugs Bunny on first base, Bugs Bunny on second, pitcher, Bugs Bunny, right fielder, Bugs Bunny. Like that's not real, because that's why it's cartoon stuff, right? So you got to put together people in place with what you have going on here. Is there procedures, or what do you look for when you're putting a team together? Because it's got to be, like you said, you drive a hard bargain on what you are holding people accountable for.
Yeah, I mean, so I interviewed, someone for a job today to be an assistant for me, and then I'm interviewing for people that want to join the club, and it's similar in a lot of ways, but like, what do you want? What do you need? What do you look for excitement in life? Can I offer that as a boss and a coworker, and can I offer that in a club? Is that going to mesh? So, I mean, really, I don't interview like everyone else interviews.
I was saying, that's almost right.
Yeah, it's very different.
Like, what do you want out of this?
Yes, that's exactly. What are you looking for? What makes you want to stay at this job for the next years, not months?
Yeah.
And you're not allowed to say money. Everything else, I want to know everything else about you. So start asking me questions. So it's same thing with a membership. They come in here, I'm saying, what do you do for work, and why would you want to join a club? Why do you want to be a part of this? Are you looking for referrals? How many referrals do you need? Are you making ends meet right now, or are you stressing? Because that's what could kill a vibe in a workplace and in a society or a community like this, is that somebody is just coming in that needs, has expectations of their own that aren't being met. And so I'm saying, okay, so let's set your expectations of what this job would be, or what this membership might entail or provide for you.
Yeah.
Because
it's not a job board.
It's not. So but nobody here has, as a member, there's no expectations of you other than there's no sales pitch, and then you're here to support everyone else. That's my only expectation. Now, I don't care if you come once a year or once every day.
Mm-hmm.
But as an employee, it's like, well, now I get to see you every day. I have a lot of expectations for you, like way more than that I'm going to have of you. How are you going to deal with those? If I be black and white with you, because unfortunately that's all you're going to get out of me, and you're not going to like a lot of the things I say. But how tough are you? How good of a doer are you? Because I need to surround myself with doers, employees, friends. Get crap done. The more you can get done, the more successful you'll be, the more happier you'll be. Then I'm going to have a fun time hanging out with you, because you're seeing success and completion. So
Home Depot has a similar motto.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's Home Depot, where doers get things done, I think is their slogan.
That's never clicked, but I might like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should talk to them.
Yeah. That's why I'm there all the damn time.
That's where doers go to get things done.
Yeah.
Quite literally. So you're a doer. You've gotten some things done. This is how I like to end the show. Is there a mantra, saying, a phrase that you've repeated or thought of throughout your life that kind of keeps you going, or something that you pass on that as
well, it always, adventure unknown. It's like, it's not necessarily a trip, even though it could be. That can change your life. But it might just be showing up to a networking event here, and you don't even know where you're going or what you're walking into. You're going into an unknown situation, and the biggest change in your life might just happen. And the more times you can go into an unknown or an uncomfortable situation, my opinion is, it's the better you'll be. The more successful you'll be, and the better things are going to happen to you as a result of stepping out of your comfort zone. So
step out of your comfort zone to, what's the end result there? Like, is that a better life? Is that
you might open your own business. You might invest in somebody else's business. You might invest in real estate. You might find a new friend. You might find a new mentor. You might.
What about for you as an individual, though? When you step out of your comfort zone, what do you find on the other side?
Okay, so I stepped out of my comfort zone most recently when I went on this hunting trip in Alaska.
Yeah.
Most miserable 14 days of my life. Drastically miserable. I thought I failed on day 14 because I didn't shoot a bear. I came home without that, but I learned so much more about myself and the reality that I was living in because of that unsuccess, even though I learned it was very successful for me. So
you made it through.
Yeah, but if it was an easy hunt or an easy trip, I would never have thought the same way I did. But so many times, like, girl just joined the club. I met her. It was snowing out. There was a networking event in the one morning. She drives up in a truck, and I'm out there plowing snow with my four-wheeler. And there's a water main break down the street. She's like, "Well, I'll just park across the street and walk." I'm like, "You're gonna walk across 6 inches of water when most of this is snow in your heels?" Like, no. You park here. We came in, had the best networking event on that morning, and I go to say bye to her, and she's like staring at me, and nothing is like, I had no idea what I was walking into, and I can't believe what happened to me this morning. She had so much support given to her by the members that were there. She's now a member of the club after about 2 months, but just that the statement she says, that's exactly what this club's about. Supporting you in an unknown, unexpected way where you're now smiling and have excitement and energy for life. It could be social, could be business, could be anything above. But if she wouldn't have made that decision, maybe her business isn't as well today. Maybe her social life isn't as well. And maybe she's not as excited about living tomorrow. Every little excuse. I just if you don't think you should do it, better do it. If someone tells you don't do it, you should probably do it. Assuming it's legal.
Yeah, to an extent.
But I mean, stupid last thing is, but vacations. I use this example all the time. The hardest thing I can get you to do as a friend of mine is to go on vacation with me because you got life, work, kids, baseball practice, blah, every excuse in the book.
There's a lot of excuses.
And all you need to do is step away from life. Even me, I got to step away from life, relax my brain, enjoy some new place of the world with some friends.
And it's usually here when you get back.
Yeah. And then you're like, thank you so much. I'm like, why won't people go on vacation? I can't afford it. You can make money tomorrow. No one can afford. No one has enough money.
No.
Nobody.
There's probably like 30 people. I doubt there's like more than that, but yeah, I get it. Yeah, I doubt. I just say that because like Elon's probably not like, oh shoot,
He's still working.
He's still working. Well, he's got like 40 kids.
Doesn't have enough money.
He's probably paying child support otherwise.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I'm excited for many more adventures.
Yeah.
With you and to see how these things grow in unison and all the things that happen from it. So I appreciate you coming on today.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you supporting us from the very beginning and helping us in what I would say is a very integral part of creating what we've created over here today.
No, I love it. I want you to kill it. I want you to keep getting bigger and bigger, and I'll be right over next door pushing everybody to push your buttons so that you get stronger and can tolerate a little bit more.
Good deal. All right, brother. I'll
All
talk
right.
to you soon.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Did you cut?